What is up, guys? Rick Cacus here with something pretty awesome to share with you guys today. The ultimate rockets build for Destiny. Now, Destiny has been around for quite a while now, going into its third year, and there has been a ton of loot added into the game since it first came out, and some of this loot makes for some very interesting combinations and very interesting builds. Some can be very fun, some can be very effective. Now, today's build is gonna be a little bit of both. Definitely going to be extremely fun to play, but also is surprisingly effective. And what today's build is again, the ultimate rockets build for the Titan. Now, what this build does is it capitalizes on a bunch of different loot that increases or somewhat affects the heavy ammo drops in the game, making it so that you will have a lot more ammunition, pretty much more rocket launcher ammunition when using this build than pretty much any other combination of loot in Destiny. So let's get started with the specifics of the build. Again, you will have to be playing the Titan class. The subclass is really up to you. However, the Defender does pair well with this build simply because the Defender subclass has a perk that makes it so that when you get kills with heavy weapons, you will produce orbs of light. You're going to be getting a lot of kills with heavy weapons using this build, so that is a very effective combination. However, going into the specifics of what weapons and armor to use, this build is kind of built around the exotic weapon, the Dragon's Breath rocket launcher. This rocket launcher is pretty underused, and fairly so. There's definitely some more pungent weapons out there. The Galahorn for one, the Truth for another. The Dragon's Breath, although it can be effective, again, doesn't really get a lot of time to shine, doesn't really get a ton of use. But this weapon works perfectly with our build. Its exotic perk is Napalm. This weapon also shoots a canister of napalm that upon detonation with the ground will leave a large fire area of effect and damage any enemies within it actually pretty substantially. Interestingly enough, the canister has some unique properties. If you shoot the ground directly, the canister will detonate and create a big area of fire right where you shot. However, if you shoot an enemy directly, you'll see the napalm canister bounce off the enemy and then hit the ground and detonate. This can cause a little bit of problems and does get a little bit of getting used to. Furthermore, when you shoot this weapon and you hold the trigger, you can actually release a trigger at any time, and that will detonate the napalm canister. Moving on, however, the reason we are utilizing the Dragon's Breath is because it automatically comes with the Surplus perk. And as you can see from this perk, expect to find more ammunition for this weapon. The Surplus perk is definitely a little bit weird, but basically what it does is it makes it so that when you pick up a canister of heavy ammo, when you see that purple box on the ground and you pick it up, as you can see from the background gameplay, you can get up to 4 rockets from a single heavy ammo drop, and that is just insane. Now, unfortunately, this perk is remarkably inconsistent. Yes, sometimes it will be amazing and you'll get 4, but oftentimes you'll also just get 1. The median is around 2 or 3 for picking up a heavy ammo drop, but again, sometimes you get 1 and sometimes you get 4. But quite frankly, the chance to get up to 4 with a single drop is better than no chance at all and always getting 1 or 2. The Dragon's Breath exotic rocket launcher, because it comes with that Surplus perk, is pretty much going to be better in terms of ammo consumption issues than any other exotic rocket launcher in the game. The Galahorn, yes, you can get lucky and get a ton of heavy ammo drops, but the Dragon's Breath is just going to be more consistent on its own with no other factors. Now, I'm not saying it's better than the Galahorn, just more consistent when it comes to ammo, and because of that, let's capitalize on that factor tenfold. And we're gonna do that by moving on to armor, and this is really where the build comes together. Firstly, we have the Wrath of the Machine Raid Gauntlets. All of the gauntlets for all of the classes actually come with the Scavenger's Boon perk. This makes it so that when you're fighting fallen enemies, they drop heavy ammo more often. And having used these gauntlets a lot, and then use these gauntlets and not use these gauntlets, it is very noticeable the increase in heavy ammo drops that you will get. But we're not done yet. We're going to combine that effect with a very little used exotic, the Taikonaut helmet. And luckily you don't need to level this thing up because we're only interested in its passive perk, air traffic control. What this does is it makes it so that all of your rockets gain tracking. So your Dragon's Breath will actually gain tracking. When you aim down sights, it'll follow a path to your enemy that you were aiming at. You'll also keep the radar up when you aim down sights. That's not super effective. The real reason we're using the Taikonaut is because of the last part of its perk. Heavy ammo drops more often. So this is where you see kind of the wombo combo appearing. We have the Dragon's Breath with surplus. Every time you pick up a heavy drop, you have a chance to get much more ammo out of it. And then we also have the Scavenger's Boon perk in the Wrath of the Machine gauntlets. Fallen are dropping more heavy ammo. And then you have the Taikonaut, which increases heavy ammo drops overall for all enemies. And with all of those things combined, heavy ammo just falls out of the sky. It's fantastic. Now with all of that extra heavy ammo, you're gonna need somewhere to put it. And that's why it's important to have some leg armor with increased rocket launcher ammo capacity. And you're going to have 6 Dragon's Breath rounds at your disposal with this build. Now if you don't want to go all in, you can switch out the Taikonaut for a certain chest piece. The Armamentarium is fantastic. It's going to give you another grenade, which is good in a variety of different scenarios, and it's going to give you, importantly, the heavy ammo perk. Your Dragon's Breath ammunition will go up to 7 with this build. You can also actually use the Twilight Garrison. It also comes with the heavy ammo perk. But you're really interested not necessarily in your maximum ammo capacity. 6 is honestly more than enough. You're interested in getting more heavy ammo drops and more from those drops because you're going to be using your Dragon's Breath a lot. So that is the ultimate rockets build for the Titan. Dragon's Breath, Raid Gauntlets, the Taikonaut, and legs with rocket ammo. Now where in Destiny is this build most effective? Well, I've got to say, first and foremost, this build is an absolute blast, pardon the pun, to play in the Archon's Forge. And that's why you're mostly seeing that for the background gameplay. Firstly, you're fighting the Fallen, and so that's going to make the most of that Scavenger's Boon perk on your gauntlets. Heavy ammo, that combined with the Taikonaut is just, again, flying all over the place. You're going to get a ton of it, and that of course combined with surplus means that you're going to be picking up more every time you go over it. Guys, when you're playing the Archon's Forge, like you can sometimes see in the background gameplay, I just go off. Like, you just basically, for extended periods of time, like honestly sometimes half of the Siva offering, you were using the Dragon's Breath exotic rocket launcher basically like a primary. That's how much ammo you can get for it. Because it is very easy to start with like 3 rounds in your Dragon's Breath, shoot a bunch of enemies, kill like 3 or 4 with one single shot, which, let's be honest, is definitely not hard. This weapon actually kind of perfectly lends itself to Archon's Forge gameplay. Like the napalm perk of the Dragon's Breath is amazing. You could shoot a doorway and then all of the enemies just keep coming out that doorway right into your napalm, and just so many die. You can kill, very easily you can kill upwards of 5 adds with a single shot of your Dragon's Breath. Now, granted, that does accompany most rocket launchers. However, I would say that the napalm perk is definitely a huge benefit when using the Dragon's Breath in the Archon's Forge. Again, planting it right when all the enemies are coming out of a door is fantastic. But like I was saying, it is very easy to just get a bunch of kills with the Dragon's Breath, and then you just see out of the flames of the Dragon's Breath all of these purple squares flying left and right, and you know, okay, I've got more ammo. So you just go ham with the Dragon's Breath, use up all your ammo, run and go pick up more, sometimes getting up to 3 or 4 for one thing. You kill more enemies, get more ammo, and you just keep recycling that. You just keep doing that over and over again. And again, the amount of time you can keep using the Dragon's Breath consistently and keep getting ammo for it, and just having a cycle of, again, using it like a primary is insane. And it's an absolute blast to cover the entire Archon's Forge arena with napalm. So if you want to have some fun in the Archon's Forge, definitely consider using the Ultimate Rockets build. However, some other places where it is kind of effective is, firstly, the Wrath of the Machine raid. Having basically unlimited rocket launcher ammo there is actually quite good, and there's some parts of it, like what you're seeing right now, the beginning of the Siege Engine encounter, where the Dragon's Breath napalm effect is again quite useful. Covering this entire area in napalm and having all of the enemies spawn into it, awesomely effective. Like, really effective in certain sections of Wrath of the Machine. However, there's definitely better heavy weapons to run in that. I'm not saying, hey, I've cracked the code to Wrath of the Machine. No. Definitely, you know, the Sleeper, Galahorn are going to be more effective in that, but you can consider challenging yourself and having some fun in that. Another place where this build is also something you really should consider playing is actually strikes, when the Heroic Strike playlist is featuring Solar Burn. You're going to be tempted to throw on the Galahorn or the Sleeper Simulant and go ham with those. And you're not really going to go wrong by doing that, I will say. But actually using this build and really not having to worry about ammunition as much and being able to use your heavy ammo so much more is very effective. I was actually using the Dragon's Breath just in combination with the gauntlets, not the Taikonaut, and I was really loving it, like not having to worry about heavy ammo at all and being able to use it for the entire strike. A lot of times when you're using something like the Galahorn, you're kind of saving it up until the final boss fight. But when you're using this build, that is really not a concern. You get to utilize your heavy weapon and spread that solar damage absolutely everywhere. And again, you would be surprised how many strikes have instances where that napalm, that constant damage, is very effective. Right off the top of my head, the remade Devil's Lair strike, during the Sepkus boss fight, you only have about 3 doors which all of the adds funnel out of. So putting a well-placed napalm shot right at the opening of one of those doors when the adds are spawning is glorious, let me tell you. And so guys, we're going to start to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed the Ultimate Rockets build. Now, I don't really do a lot of these build videos, and if you enjoyed this video and want to see more build videos, there's a ton of different really fun combinations, even just for doing stuff like running strikes that I would love to do if you guys are interested. So if you guys want to see more of this type of video, more different builds for all 3 of the classes, a bunch of subclasses, what have you, let me know in the comment section down below, and also help support the video by simply liking and especially sharing it. If you guys want to see more Destiny content from me, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. Now, if you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.